Hello everybody, and yes guys, we're still giving away 500 XRP if we hit 1,000 likes within 24 hours. If you want to enter, all you have to do is make sure you press the like button, make sure you are subscribed, and make sure you comment something down below. If we hit it, we're live streaming, and you'll hear if you won or not, so make sure you enter. Anders L, or X Anderson, just posted on Twitter, "Here is the document where Ripple discuss XRP as collateral." It's actually from a couple of months ago already, but it's just cool to look back at it, at some of the things we often forget. So the tweet read, "XRP as collateral for all different financial instruments. Why are not people talking about this? This would bring a ton of demand for XRP." Let's see. While this paper focuses on cross-border payments, Ripple and XRP offer the same benefits of cost savings and collateral elimination to all corners of the global financial system. Collateral usage has been on the rise in areas of particular relevance for financial stability. Trillions of dollars are trapped in collateral accounts to support repo and reverse repo transactions, offset counterparty risk in the derivatives market, and minimize credit risk in payments and settlement systems. To give just one example, in the $100 trillion plus market for non-cleared interest rate swaps, $5 trillion in collateral was required to offset OTC counterparty risk in 2014, while the margin for cleared derivatives rose to $455 billion. Just as the redundancy of nostro accounts needed to serve as international payments for correspondent banks can be consolidated into the XRP pool, financial institutions can begin to consolidate collateral accounts needed to participate in different markets into single XRP positions that can provide one point of interchange to every other financial instrument. Ripple technology can then eliminate settlement risk and reconciliation costs as transactions move between systems, releasing billions of dollars annually back into the economy while strengthening financial stability. The idea is not as far-fetched as it might sound straight off the bat. It's also not really far off, and it's really something that's already being worked upon piece by piece. Right now, we're seeing more and more trust get put into XRP, and also I believe we're seeing more and more parties kind of get away or grow astray from the Nostro Vostro, like the current and older system. Mostly because they just noticed that having your money locked up for in case of or this or that is just, first of all, not liquid because yes, it's locked up, but also not necessary anymore with the current systems that we are able to generate and to create. Which is why XRP is really a solution for a lot of different things, and which is also why I always support Ripple when they say that this is just their first venture. The cross-border remittances and all of that, it's one thing out of a lot that they could get to eventually. So I'm pretty excited for that. James Rule. BIS, August 24th, 2020. Rise of the central bank digital currencies, drivers, approaches, and new technologies. So yes, guys, new publication just came out. BIS working papers, PDF. You can see it out there, 44 pages. Well, what I wanted to say about this whole situation, by the way, we can open it right here if you guys want to. What I wanted to say about the whole situation here, which I find important, is that CBDCs are being worked upon so heavily. And as I told you guys a couple of days ago, I think the US, after, for example, the Chris Larsen talk, and a lot of other guys have been talking about it, really wants to put another step forward right now in revolutionizing this space by getting a regulatory framework and getting in a couple of things before China does. Because, yeah, they don't want to lose. The US... I don't think they could ever lose to some like China over this. They're like, all right, the China is this far. Let's get 3 steps further now to make sure that that nobody ever makes that statement again. The China is further than we are, and no, that's not happening. Which is also why I thought personally that they would put really 4 steps on, like they would go from 5th to 7th gear all of a sudden to speed up the process here to really get it going. Because they can't be lacking, which is also why I thought that there would be more and more announcements and more papers, more and more thoughts about it coming out right now. And even though I know if a paper comes out in August, it's most likely been in the works for a couple of months, I also understand that they really got to put these things out right now. They can't wait. They can't keep looking and debating and waiting for it longer because there's people waiting for it all the time right now, right? There's people waiting for it to to just get out there. And let's actually type in XRP, of course. We got to check if they mentioned something like that. Ripple, let's see if it's mentioned. No, let's see, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is mentioned in here along with Libra and the CBDC. All right, CBDC, the next hype of future payments. They've mentioned here timing of speeches and reports on CBDC. 12 months moving sum of account of central bank speeches resulting from a case-insensitive search for any of the following words, phrases: CBDC, central bank digital currency, and digital money. And then 2 is 12-week moving average of worldwide search interest. The data has been normalized to the 12-week moving average peak of each series. The series was run on search terms Bitcoin and Facebook Libra, and the topic central bank digital currency, data accessed on 16th of July 2020. So basically, again, you can understand this has already been searched up a month ago or so, which is fun if you ask me. Like, they've been working on this for months, and a lot of us have just been waiting on it. And now only a month later can they give it out, which in my opinion is just a titty-bitty too late. If they would have done it like maybe 3 weeks ago, a lot of these talks that have been going around right now wouldn't have been had. However, even though, again, I'm telling you guys that with full faith right now, the BIS here coming out with a statement like this or a report is not going to change it at all. It's just showing that they've really been working hard on it. And they've also included, I checked it out a little bit earlier, the Chinese part about it all. Right? They've also been talking about the Chinese part about it all. In this part specifically here, they're talking about at least a couple of other digital currencies or CBDCs for other different countries. But yeah, they've thought about it all. They've put it into it all. And basically the point is they've been working hard at it. Now, Bitcoin is not mentioned once. It's mentioned multiple times. I just scrolled over. Where was it now? I just scrolled over it. It's somewhere just here because they mentioned Bitcoin once more. Let's see. Second part is here. Currently, with the growing popularity of Bitcoin and DLT, a number of central banks have started internal projects to better understand DLT and its potential application to currencies. In the Netherlands, shout out to my country, the Nederlandse Bank, DNB, did internal experiments starting in 2015 with a DLT-based coin called Ducaton. This was named after the ducat, a golden coin used in the time of the Dutch independence from Spain in the 16th century. The Bank of England, MAS, Bank of Canada, and others ran similar internal experiments around this time. They generally concluded that DLT was not yet mature enough for their use in central bank digital payment systems. In March 2016, the Deputy Governor of the Bank of England gave thoughts on this wide-reaching implication of CBDCs, the first of many subsequent policymaker speeches that have grappled with CBDCs and their implications for central bank and societies. Now, my statement on all of this is, everybody knows Bitcoin and crypto in general are getting more popular. Everybody knows that the interest for that and for systems, including that, are getting more popular and are getting more necessary. They also all know, though, that it's going to be very hard to be the first one to adopt it as a country completely. And the first one to do it will get a lot of fame and a lot of money in the process. Now, what the Nederlandse Bank and a couple of others have done is they ran internal experiments because they wanted to, first of all, create a new currency that kind of had to do with like being a golden coin or things like that. All systems kind of had that in the back of their head because otherwise, what type of currency are you going to be creating? And they also all experimented with how are we going to make sure that it will be better for us? Like, what's the benefit in having this digital bank or this currency rather than just the dollar done online, right? Or just the euro done online and things like that. And they thought about that because even, as I said before, even if they were to all have their central bank digital currencies, all countries were to, it's not going to be better to transact through multiple countries. And you're still, theoretically speaking, going to be needing a nostro-vostro system unless you have direct pairs to every single currency out there, and unless everything is really not backed by anything physically, it's just backed by something in thought. Because theoretically speaking here, no other countries are going to be trusting other governments, because that never really happens. I mean, maybe in the Europe, in the EU, they trust each other because they're bonded by EU. But in general, China and the US, yeah, those trusting each other, not going to be calling for it. Especially, again, if we're talking about then also calling out Russia and all other countries out there. They don't trust each other. And thus, real systems based upon trust, that ain't going to happen. Which is also why literal pairs are a little bit of a difficult situation to grasp. Having said that, though, Pairs with XRP are definitely possible because you don't need mutual connections for every single party out there, which is also why the application is really necessary, and also why there's really a lot of demand, a lot of usage for XRP, and also why I'm thinking it's going to be happening and why I'm really excited for it. Because if there's just pairs between whatever currency they create in XRP, they don't need connections to each other. They can just connect through XRP. Here was another one which I mentioned earlier in the video, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys watched it really. Was about the whole trademark type of scenario that's going on. Ripple is emancipating as well, and it's more so looking like the second and third verticals or whatever that Ripple's been talking about. Yeah, I think they're starting to ease into it a little bit more piece by piece, or at least setting the foundations for it. They're setting the foundations for it. PayID was already a little bit of a foundation in the right direction, but a couple other things they've been putting up here. It's all leading towards something, guys. It's a matter of time before we're going to get there. A level playing field says here, technicals indicate Ripple XRP is about to see liftoff to 30 cents. What I wanted to send here, my message to you guys is, don't worry too much about 30 cents. It can get to that point just in a flip of an eye or flip of the wrist. I don't know what you want to say right there. So don't worry yourself too much with can it happen, will it happen tomorrow, or things like that. More so worry yourself about whether or not you have enough, or whether or not your position is nice at this point. If you're going to go for, like a split between 28 and 30 cents, if you're really making up, big decisions based upon that, I think there's something wrong if you're a long-term investor. If you're a short-term investor, well, you do you, all right? If you want to trade it real quick, you do you. However, if you want to hold till $30 and you're worrying whether or not we'll hear 30 cents or not, I'm like, why? What's the point? It's maybe a 10% change. That ain't going to be everything on a longer term, right? It's not going to be the biggest change maker. And that's something I learned really, really early, is that you should not be too greedy for these types of things. What I often had before, when I was a little bit younger investing, I had, let's say, for example, I had about $10,000, right? I was maybe let's say I was 17 years old, I had $10,000. I was like, you know what? I worked hard to save this money. I want to invest it somewhere. And there were a couple opportunities, and instead of doing like $1,000 or maybe like $1,500, maybe $2,500, whatever, maybe $5, whatever, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be investing, and if I want to invest, I gotta go big or go home. So I spent the whole $10,000 investing, and I lost literally every cent. Why? Because I went too big and I was too nitpicky with what I wanted. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for this. And I missed a lot of good opportunities because I was too nitpicky with what exactly I wanted to go for. I was like really looking at the details. I was looking at the small percentages and really, really looking at the really, really small details. And then even though I thought I had the perfect thing going on, it still went completely bad. And the point of that one is my lesson to you guys is that even though you might be looking at the details, you might be like, oh, it's going to go to 30 cents because it's going to get an extra 10%. I'm going to wait for the perfect opportunity to maybe buy now, sell at 30, then buy back in more to get my... It can still all go wrong. You shouldn't be worried about those small 10% things too much. Just take whatever you can if you think it's the right thing to do. And again, 2 cents or not, or maybe 2 cents, but 10% is now going to make a big change in your life. Just get that, hopefully. Maybe in the weirdest of circumstances it will, but in my opinion, it's better to just go for it instead of nitpicking all of that, right? Even if it goes to 30 cents, you can still buy it. It's not too late. Get your average price below 50 cents, not financial advice, but still, at those points, I would say it's good. The Cryptic Poet says, records reveal Ripple CEO met with senior Trump administration official in 2018. I actually knew about this for a little while. I know we covered it in one of the videos earlier. It's just right now some new insights are coming out and some more articles are writing on it or about it. However, it's nothing new. Newly discovered White House records show the head of Ripple met with senior Trump administration official. Wow, I keep saying that wrong. I want to say office, but it's official. Twice in 2018. Documents from the U.S. Office of Management and Budget shows Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse met with Special Assistant to the President Carlene Moore on September 26th and October 3rd. The documents were unearthed by XRP enthusiast and investor Stephen Deep. Both meetings appear to have lasted for the better part of the day. In addition to being Special Assistant to the President, Moore is also Director of the Office of the Chief of Staff, according to ProPublica. And although the subject of the meetings remain under wrap, On wrap, former Ripple chief marketing strategist Corey Johnson referenced direct talks between the San Francisco startup and the Trump administration the same year. There's clearly a lot of homework going on. The White House in particular seems to be thinking about what it means to have 80% of Bitcoin mining take place in China and a majority of Ether mining taking place in China. When you look at XRP, there's no mining, so from a foreign control aspect or from an environmental aspect, XRP is a very different beast. And in conversations we've had with the administration, they seem to get that and think that it might matter in the end. I can understand that. We're in regular talks throughout Washington, and we meet with regulators as well as politicians. We've got a whole team that's devoted to doing just that, not just in the US, but worldwide. Ripple has long pushed US regulators to adopt smart and sensible policies on crypto assets. In July last year, the company took a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal urging members of Congress to learn about digital currencies and create policies that protect US companies that are developing in this emerging tech. I would say, again, Ripple's trying their best to make sure that a regulatory framework comes out, because at this point, crypto is not as looked upon as a good thing just quite yet. And then, as I mentioned in one of the earlier videos, I just wanted to mention it once more, another 10 million XRP to European ODL corridor. ODL right now is not at peak potential. It's not at the top just quite yet. As of this point, it's because they said that it's because they changed their priorities, right? Or changed their priorities, I should say. However, logically thinking about the whole situation as well, they're not right now at a spot where it would be beneficial for them to put everything into ODL. I would say it's very beneficial for them to work on the framework, work on all the different ventures, and then push ODL hard. Because it's more so about the partnerships rather than the money. It's more so about who can you get on there rather than how much can they contribute. Because as we saw before with the banks as well, they don't want to be first. All right, they will only come once others are already on there, and that's what you'll be seeing for the longest time. Until they got a good framework going on, it's what you'll see. But guys, thank you all for watching this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video. Take care and have a very nice week.